Hey, hi everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I have missed making just videos like this one that I'm sharing now, where we just kind of talk about and work through a problem set. I've been making a lot of videos just dedicated to the War Dragon Pro recently, so just want to switch it up and take another look at the Caribou Lite. And while I'm doing that, just kind of explain where things have went recently with the DragonOS for the Pi. Nothing against Ubuntu. Really like Ubuntu, but I felt like there's a lot of overlays that are missing that enable third-party, add-ons to work a little easier. So I decided to give the Raspberry Pi OS, particularly the yet to be released Debian 13 version, a try. And I know that's pretty experimental. You can see that we're looking at a 6.12 kernel. But it seems to boot up really fast and work really well. And the Caribou Lite is working. Not, of course, on the Pi 5, which, to make this a little confusing, I'm actually recording and going to do some initial steps using the Pi 5 right now, which is what you see on the screen, only because it's just a little faster compiling some of the things that we're going to need to change. And then I'll swap over to the Pi 4. We'll do a little more, followed by probably looking at about 3 reboots here. But I just felt it'll make this video go a little bit faster. Just know that if you only have a Pi 4, then you would obviously be doing everything I'm showing on the Pi 4. And in the next release of DragonOS Pi64, some of the issues that I identify in this video, I would have fixed, so it'll save a little bit of time. But anyways, back to the Caribou Lite. This is what it looks like, and what we're going to do, we're going to look at using a pull request, number 241, where somebody kind of fixes the SMI compiling for Bookworm. In this case, it also works with Debian 13. So I guess I'll go ahead and we'll go to this individual's repository here. You can see the links. I'll put it in the description. I'll go ahead and in the home directory, I'm going to git clone this down, and we're going to wait to build this on the Pi 4. That's an important note because there's a part where it checks the kernel memory and does some other things. And if I build this, actually I may go ahead and build it on the Pi 5 just to accelerate the compiling of it all. But I will have to rerun the install script on the Pi 4 just so that it reconfigures itself for the Pi 4. So maybe I'll do that. It might help speed things up a little bit. Also, we're going to take a look at SDR++, which is in DragonOS Pi64, but I did not build it with the SOAPy module. So we're going to git clone that down too, so you can see how I make this change. And there's one other thing that we got to change, which I'm going to share some information when I get more time and debugging information with the Blade RF folks. It's absolutely nothing against the Blade RF. The DragonOS Pi64 will continue to support the Blade RF. It's just there's some weird SMI thing going on where if GR SDR has the Blade RF support, there's some kind of call happening and then it crashes out GQRX. So we're going to go into the user source GR SDR. Hopefully this is big enough to see. This is the source code is in the Pi itself, and I'm gonna use sudo because we're in the user source directory. I'm gonna make a build directory, and because I'm drawing a blank on the flag that I would need to pass, we're just gonna make a let me think. We're gonna make a change because I can't think of anything else at the moment. We're going to come down and we're going to find where it looks for the different packages, and we'll just comment that out for a second. Go into our build directory, run cmake, And we're just looking to temporarily disable the BladeRF and GROsmo SDR. And we'll make this, which again goes quite a bit faster on the Pi 5. And while that is doing that, we'll come over, open up another window, try and speed this up a little bit. We'll go into our, let's see, SDR++, and we'll kind of do the same thing. Don't necessarily have to use sudo because we're not in the user source directory. But all I really want to do is build this without really anything on except for Soapy. And since the other thing's still building, I'm sure there is a way to pass these flags real quick, but it's just as quick for me to come down through here because otherwise I'd have to remember all these things to turn off anyways. And then there's the Soapy SDR, so I'll just turn that one on. Yeah, that should be fine. Control O, enter save, Control X. We'll make a build directory. We'll change into that. Ooh. Build. And we'll do a CMake. That should be fine. We'll do a make. And I'm just building this just to get the Soapy module. Come back over to the GROsmo SDR, which is finished. We'll do a sudo make install. I've actually used check install to build packages, but this should be fine. Do a sudo ld config, even though it was already in place to begin with. So that kind of rebuilds GROsmo SDR just for now, temporarily, without BladeRF support. Only to get around this thing I've seen with like GQRX and maybe something else that uses GROsmo SDR when the BladeRF support is in there. Hopefully we can get that sorted out so you can have both, but I would figure that most people, if you have the CaribouLite, that's probably what you're dedicating your Pi 4 to. So now we're just waiting for SDR++ to finish. While it's doing that, I'll show Cubic SDR real quick, which I got to work through this and figure out what is going on. I have an RTL SDR plugged in. This is the package provided install, but you can see that there's no audio sources and you can kind of see what is going on behind the scenes here. So I don't know. I feel like it's something I can see there, not supported by RT audio. I've seen issues mentioned about newer versions of RT audio, so I'm actually curious. I might try just Debian 13. Well, actually, I mean, this is Debian 13 and RT audio wasn't changed, so might be something that the Debian maintainers need to make through or work their way through, or I might try to build Cubic SDR from source. Waiting for SDR++ to finish. And again, make sure you're using the pull request version of CaribouLite at the moment. It's updated about 5 months ago. Okay, so we finished rebuilding SDR++, and I'm just going to go into source modules and look for this SOAPy source, which is right there. We'll do a sudo copy SOAPy source into user lib SDR++ plugins. That'll give us access to the SOAPy source. And let's go ahead and come back to our home, and we'll go into our CaribouLite. We'll do the install in here, and just note I am doing this on the Pi 4, but I'm going to rerun it on the I'm doing this on the Pi 5. I'm going to rerun it on the Pi 4. I'm only doing this to kind of speed up the video, because I'm sure you don't, and I know I don't want to sit here forever waiting for everything to compile. The other thing is, and you should be fine, because I think, like you see, it isn't necessarily doing a upgrade of all the packages, and it even fails to find the kernel. But just to play it on the safe side, make sure you have everything up to date and the latest kernel before you run this script, or look through the script and make sure that you're not doing an upgrade, because what you don't want to have happen is build this and in the process upgrade the kernel, because then when you reboot, you have the new kernel but not have the CaribouLite modules built in, if that makes sense. So this is going pretty quick. Once this is done, we will switch to the Pi 4 and finish this up. Okay, so you come down to the end. We'll open up another window here, and we'll go boot firmware config.txt. Come down, do just what it's saying. Starting to, remember to middle mouse click there for copy and paste. We'll do a Control O. Now I'm going to shut down, switch to the Pi 4, and I'll pick back up here with recording. Okay, I am back. We're on the Pi 4 now, and we're going to finish this out. Another thing I want to mention is this is running a Wayland session, and so in the past I found that SDR++, obviously it's not going to run as smooth on the Pi 4, plus I'm screen recording, but you should see that lower CPU usage where it looks like the Raspberry Pi OS has all the driver support in place and everything else. Yeah, I just wanted to point that out. I actually had to use a different screen recorder because of the Wayland session. You can disable that in the Raspberry config, but probably really not necessary at this point. So let's change into the CaribouLite. Again, we'll run the install. Should go pretty quick because most of the stuff is compiled. I'm just looking for it to reconfigure things for the Pi 4. And then once this finishes, I'll do one more reboot and pick up the recording again, and we'll see how the CaribouLite will work, fingers crossed, with GQRX, SigDigger, SDR++, and probably a lot of other applications that use the SOAPy interface. So minus except for whatever's going on with cubic SDR. So yeah, so just know where it's saying updating, kernel headers and software. That's where, and I don't have it connected to the internet. Anyways, just be aware that could be where you end up in a situation where your kernel upgrades, and if it just so happens while you're doing what I'm doing in the video, you end up messing yourself up. So it's going to say failed, all that, until it comes down here and kind of reconfigures itself. but after a reboot, it'll be fine. Had you did everything on the Pi 4 to begin with that I did, then you would have never even seen where it talked about failed and whatnot. So I'm just waiting for this to finish up. Alright, so I will reboot, just pretend that everything was on the Pi 4 up to this point, and this was our one reboot, and then we'll get this going. Alright, we've rebooted, and let's take a look here. So if we run our SOAPy SDR utility, got no errors. We see the two sides, two receive parts of the, well, not receive, but basically the SI and the HI. We're going to run GQRX, and we should not get a seg fault. I'm going to pick the HI because that's what I have an antenna attached to. Let me think. Sample rate. We got 2 and 4. Maybe it's the other way around, but I don't have a speaker hooked up.
$1 prize packs. It's good to be right.
I was having a lot of sinus,
but I hear the audio in my ear and it sounds very good. Should be able to adjust gain and such. I don't have a really good antenna on here. It's just a tiny little antenna, but there's the CaribouLite working with GQRX, which is on top of GNU Radio. You should be able to open up GNU Radio. You should be able to use the GNU Radio with the GR CaribouLite. Yep. Or let's see. Let's take a look at SigDigger. Now SigDigger, for some reason, well, one, it takes a little bit to, oops, yeah, sometimes I get the captured stream ends. To take a look at that. Let me see. Oh, wait a second. We're using. Let me switch to HI. Yeah, I'm not sure. It was where it would, run for a while and wouldn't have the stream end until I changed frequency. So, I'll have to see what can be done about that. Let's see. And because I changed that sample rate and bandwidth, I feel like FFTW, I think there's some generation going on behind the scenes. It takes a little while to rebuild. But if you change the, well, maybe not. Seen it where the capture, okay. Well, there's SigDigger. Change your sample rate and bandwidth. And then let's take a look at SDR++ after we had rebuilt with that SOAPy module. Come down here, we'll look for SOAPy source, give it a name, add it in, should appear in the module manager, come up, where are we at here, change to SOAPy, we see our Caribou, I'll change to HI, we'll do bandwidth, change it from auto, go highest it'll let us go here. We'll raise the gain.
And loop around here. Not coming.
Imagine
No, 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 no.
if we were to
No, no, no,
even
no.
hint, okay.
And the audio
And
sounds
especially
good.
this
And there we
week.
are. So there's SDR++.
There'd be no ice to get anywhere right now.
Tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No ice.
Okay. All right. So with those couple changes, you should be up and going. You can use your CaribouLite with the latest Debian 13, latest DragonOS Pi64. When I get an opportunity, I'll make some of the changes, maybe, at least in terms of SDR++, see if I can figure out cubic SDR. Some of the other things is going to be on you to make the change unless we can get that sorted out with the Blade RF. And then, of course, installing the CaribouLite software, just always kind of up in the air as far as, which pull request is going to work. But hopefully this helps. Yeah. All right. Thank you.